TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats in rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. What is up, everyone? My name is Frank Castle, and it is Saturday night, and I'm here with my etherical translator, Paula Milo. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good, and I'm ready to get back to the Fearless adventure. I'm feeling amazing right now.
Yeah, refreshed, back from vacay.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. I had a really good time. Before we start, I'd like to give my shout-outs to Chris and Cherie Drio. I love you guys. Without you guys, would not be here telling the story, which is going to go from my story to Paula's story, my story, back again to everybody's story.
Yeah.
So it's not just about me. It's about all of us. It's the winding up into the pitch of what's going on. Special shout outs to everyone in the chat room as well, and to my brother Josh from the Earworms, and my brother Rob from my brother, and who was the other shout out? Oh, and from Mr. E.
Mr. E.
Thank you so much. A lot of good things happening, but before we start, I'd like to do a prayer for cleansing of sacred space.
Oh, sure.
Keep us under your wing. Show us the mountains we only dare to dream of. Teach us to fly wing to wing with the Great Spirit. Mother Earth, we've gathered for the healing of all your children. The stone people, the plant people, the four-legged, the two-legged, the creepy crawlers, the fin, the furried, and the winged one. All are relations. Father, Son, Grandmother Moon, to the Sun Nation, to the Star Nation. Great Spirit, you who know by 1,000 names and who are an unnameable one, thank you for bringing us together and allowing us to sing the song of life. When you say things like that, it sets the tone of what you are intending to accomplish with your intention. I'm trying each time we have a show to throw something out there like that, to give you prime examples of how easy it is to just switch and change and to do the things you need to do. Everybody now, not everybody, a bunch of people have been reaching out to me, right? And now what they're telling me is amazing. They have their own fearless journey going on,
yes.
Right? Like right now I'm Frankie Fearless, but you could be, John Smith Fearless or Jane Smith Fearless. Like this is your fearless acts as well. And I am interested. I am totally interested. Because I'm not alone out there. And now I'm hearing the stories back that are quite amazing, too.
Oh, yeah. From across the world.
I mean, from everywhere.
Yeah.
I spend, during the week, a good portion of the week, just basically talking to people.
And answering questions.
Answering
yeah.
lots of questions and listening. Now I do a lot of questions for the ceremonies and stuff, but now I'm getting floods of... I'll get like one question and then a flood of, this is my story. This is right. What happened to me. I decided to go at it alone, or me and my wife, me and my girl, me and my kids, me and my whoever. And it's a beautiful thing to hear about. And it's really, really awesome. Oh, wait, don't forget, you got to sign up.
Yes, truthfrequencyradio.com. Please sign up. Get a subscription.
There's a subscription for everyone. You get all the great archives. I have yet to start the YouTube channel. People have been beating on me for this one because I believe this is episode 17, And I'm taking it this is like a comic book journey to me, and we're already through technically the whole first year. So
That's a good way to describe it, though, comic book journey, because I feel like a lot of our synchronicities are coming in through comics, superheroes, things out of the ordinary, even the movies we watch. And thank you, Mr. E. We watched what was that Netflix
Strange
series,
Things.
Stranger Things. Oh my goodness, it was a 2-night binge. We watched the whole thing from beginning to end.
And once again, another show, soft disclosure or hard
Soft
disclosure,
disclosure,
however
yeah.
you want to. It's all about CERN-related activities, demonic entities, parallel realms,
yeah.
MK Ultra type stuff, teleportation, mind control.
Right.
Um,
Getting us used to seeing these entities on TV, getting us used to seeing these entities in advertising and car commercials and things like that, sprinkling in messages in movies and
They're priming the
yeah,
pump, so
yeah,
to speak,
yeah.
so you can be prepared when you see this, which you
Yeah,
are
so
going to.
you're not shocked.
Yeah, you're not going to just lose it. The War of the Worlds thing was tested a long time ago. I spoke to my grandfather about that. It was actually, people make it out to be worse than it is or was, but anytime somebody throws himself out of a window thinking aliens are attacking, but that story was stretched a little bit, but then again, not too much, because the fear that was based in these people who maybe didn't respond and just locked their door and didn't talk about it again and said,
Right.
all right, this is just crazy. I'm going to board myself in here, and if anything other than a human comes to the door, I'm going to kill it. That's it. That's how they thought. And then they just pushed it out of their mind. Okay, thank God it's all gone.
Right.
Right? We are the disclosure. This is what's happening. Everybody has the ability now to make the connections to...
Yeah. Yeah.
People are like, I want a physical landing. You want a physical landing? They're coming. And they're going to take the people into fields on private property that are mentally prepared for this. Like, you're going to have to be a certain mind frame, because they don't want you being a psycho and going out there. And why I know this, we all know. Plant medicine, ayahuasca. Here's my disclaimer, because it's time. This is the story of my journey and my journey alone. I don't suggest you try this at home alone. That is, unless you're ready. Then, by all means, proceed. But first, we suggest finding a reputable shaman who knows what he or she is doing and travel safe in the love and the light. And remember, the universe loves to reward bravery. Loves it. And if you get a chance and you like my music that you hear during the show, check out HeistClick, HeistClick. We're pretty much everywhere, so just Google it. Google it. A lot of things happened while we were away.
Yeah.
And recharging. Just want to talk about a little bit that happened. I noticed that crowds have changed.
Yeah.
Attitudes changed. I went out to Jersey. We were in Wildwood, New Jersey on the boardwalk. And it's funny, the whole Pokemon thing was going on. And if you guys don't realize this is the deep end of the pool, so I'm just going to tell you already what it is. That's the AI. And you'll say, no, it's the CIA. No, it's the AI. Go right to the top. Go to the heart of the issue. We all know every layer needs to be destructed, called into question, brought out into the light. We know that. But if you're going to see people running like that in parks, falling off of cliffs and this and that, you're seeing almost when someone comes out with food for the pigeons.
Yeah, it's like a mob mentality almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's controlling your mass consciousness as you're moving. You're actually viewing something on your view screen, giving intent to your concentration, so to speak, and it has you running all over the place.
Yeah, you're giving it life.
So, and then for you CIA people and people that are like, oh my God, it's this instead. Yeah, the Pokemons might turn out to be guys they're looking for, girls they're looking for, things they're looking for, tracking, but they can't find for some reason. And they put the Pokemon thing over it. And then everybody's going to start running up to people going, oh, you're the 100,000 million point Pokemon. And meanwhile, they're registering the offender on the other side. And they're watching you the whole time as well. But the AI is building a resistance against you, the creator. The house of source itself, inside your little pink frame, a human skeleton and flesh and bone and consciousness. You're transmitting signals made mostly of water. You have an electric charge through you. They're trying to take it, control it, bring humans back to an earlier version where we don't think for ourselves, but we still house the source. The problem is with this, no matter how difficult you want to hide sauce within a container, it finds its way out. I'm going to just say this because I know everyone's listening that needs to listen, but we know what you're doing. And the show's tip of the spear, sticking it out there, right into the chest of the dark and going, hey, welcome to the light. So I'm out there and I can't take the crowds. First thing I notice.
Oh, yeah.
So walking around, it's literal. As an empath, people that understand this know that in a crazy crowd, you just can't take it. The boardwalk was packed.
Yeah, you were picking up energy, though, left and right, picking up energy.
People from all over the world encountering similar problems and things, and they're the vacation stories where there's children around most of the time. You are droning to get them fed, get them moving, get them this, get them that, rah, 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 and you're not really vacationing, they are. And I'm not, it's nothing against it, because I know what you're trying to do, but that road to hell is paved with such good intentions. I just wanted to give my kid everything.
Yeah, it was a lot of shuffling.
A lot of shuffling, a lot of lights.
Shuffling them here, shuffling them there.
Yes, and it was hot as it gets. Now you gotta, I loved it. I mean,
oh, no,
don't get me wrong.
We had a great time.
But watching this, like me and you are just walking around. We don't have that pull to like,
That's
hey.
awesome.
Yeah, so we're watching it happen. So there's a lot of actual negative energy. It's like when you go to church, people dispel all that crap they have, and you just feel sick because you're like, hey, everyone's shitty right now.
Yeah.
They're telling all their dirt, and the place just doesn't feel clean. Anyway, so I'm having all these problems, and I lean up against, I was talking to my nephew, and he comes to the door, and I can't let him in, and I lean up against where you could flip the light for outside. And as I start talking, I start feeling this it was like a prick at first, like a little pinch on my shoulder. And I was leaning on the wall where the light switch is. And then it was something I've never felt before. An electric bolt traveled through my shoulder, went from a pinch to a fire.
Current, that ran through you.
And it pinned me to the wall, like pulled me to it. And I couldn't get myself off the wall. Had to tell my little nephew, go inside the other room, get out of here, like, go get your dad or something. And my ear hurt like it was on fire on the opposite side. And I pulled myself off the wall, explained to you what happened. My ear was killing me. And then suddenly, even though I had slight memory loss for like a day.
Short-term memory
I was in the bathroom. I didn't know why I was in there while I was going to the bathroom. It was that bad in terms of what was happening. But it shut me down. I wasn't absorbing anything.
No, you weren't picking up anyone's energy.
It took 4 days, but it felt great. It felt great to shut down because there's never an off switch.
Yeah, to be turned off for a while.
Just like, give me the break for a few minutes. Because that is so overwhelming. I do want to enjoy it. And by the way, we are here. It's supposed to be blissful.
Oh, yeah. But I think had that not happened to you, you would have constantly on the boardwalk in those crowds of people and screaming children and running and jumping and playing. You would have picked up a lot of negative energy because we had to clear you. Remember, we did a clearing on you the first night because you had all that stuff going on.
Multiple ayahuasca ceremonies I will discuss later on down the line that went on, and dispelling things out of your body and then having to readjust even in a new location. You have to get used to the area, and it's collective consciousness.
That's what it is. It's too much. It's like overstimulation. Super
overstimulation. Being on the boardwalk, every light and ping and sound and over here and
everyone's thoughts. You can pick up. You pick up everyone's thoughts.
Yes, and it is slightly frustrating. I also see. All right, this really isn't as relevant, but just so you guys know, I'm at the point now where it's visual. Inside the third eye, the visual, which would be your movie screen. Yeah. When you go do ayahuasca or DMT, sometimes the movie screen splits and there's a higher screen and the lower screen. My screen is now open to seeing things. I don't see everything. To say that would be stupid, but I do see things that get close, very, very close in proximity, and I could just pick them right out.
Oh yeah, well you had an experience on the beach, didn't you? In the wait.
Yes, I did. For those that, I guess Wiccans would understand this, the elementals,
Elementals.
they are real. I went down to the ocean, put my feet in the water. It was so clean. It was so beautiful. And the first thing I said, because it felt like I was going to tear up a little because it was so beautiful and it felt so good, was, I'm back. I'm back to the water. A few years ago, I went in Tampa's water, and there were sharks in the water, and I was getting over a fear, but I didn't mean to do that. I was really partying and then trying to be manly and get in the water. This was different. It was like a return to home.
Yeah, it was a more spiritual.
And I said to her, it was a her, she, I said, you're so beautiful. Thank you so much for this. And she said, you're back. Oh, like, it's about time. But this is really happening to you. And I said,
she was.
I wanted confirmation. I said, how did you know? I said, I want confirmation. How did you know? I was going to ask you, confirm for me we're having this conversation. And I turned around. The beach had no shells on parts of the day. And there was this one shell just sitting at my I turned, and it was right there. It was at my toe, and I picked it up, and I was like, wow, what a beautiful shell. And then I said, let me get a couple more. And there was none. And I said, oh, this is my confirmation.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you're hearing me now. Now hear him. And then there was an earth elemental who was involved
So that
when
was
I laid in the sand.
That was the water elemental
Yes.
you spoke to.
She told me to lay in the sand. And remember, I was laying at the line, just putting sand all over me. Somebody said, oh, it's like exfoliating yourself. I said,
I said that.
yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So I'm sitting there doing that, thinking to myself, this is probably the best feeling in the world. Like to just lay on the beach and cover yourself and get your pores clean. Just clean out your
Ra
body.
was there, and your wind elemental was there, and you met the water elemental, and she was beautiful.
Like I'm still new to a lot of these things that happen, so it's slightly confusing at times. But when you see it directly for what it is, it's like me meeting you on the street, except the street is the etheric planes.
And everything
plural.
is beautiful.
And most things are beautiful as long as they're on the up and up from the upper. I've seen beautiful things that are frightening looking, but they're frightening because you've never seen that before.
Right.
And I'm like, well, a brain with an eye, the floating around with squid tentacles is pretty scary. But when its intention touches you, you go, oh, you're just a being floating in the ether like everyone else. I know that sounds weird. We're getting back into that.
But that's basically what it comes down to. It's we exist with all of these entities and beings. They just exist on a different plane.
Absolutely, that's it. Everything is real, because this gets to the part of the conversation. Because I don't want to tell the whole story because we're going to get back to it eventually. But a conversation with my brother, I use him as an example, and I love him the most, right? Like me and him grew up together. I mean, literally, it was like raising each other, basically, which was really wild. But he's like a dad, and he was Rob Banks from the Heist Clique, right? So now he went through the transformation the other way, and people are saying to him that I'm crazy, and they're questioning him about me.
Yeah, and he felt really bad about that.
Like tears in his eyes bad. And I'm like, listen, you don't need to defend me.
No.
If you want to go on the other side, that's on you. You don't even have to, just because you're my brother. But he said your conviction is what's making everyone like, wow, like they'll continue listening even though they're talking shit. Okay, that's pretty much how it goes. Because all that information gets back to me, and it's freaky. It's freaking everyone out. Really, it's so freaky. You guys aren't worried about fluoride in the water. You're not worried about chemtrails in the air. You're not worried about clean water and good food.
But you're worried about Frank's opinion.
And you're worried about me talking to a spirit. But let me tell you what, when you watch the growth spurts, which are leaps and bounds beyond anyone, and we talk about superpowers constantly on the show, but we all know I'm not levitating in the air.
Right.
Okay? We know that I do travel and do things on the spirit realm, but as a shaman, my job, my purpose, not even my job, my purpose is to secure information and share it.
And share it.
That's it.
Period. It's a beautiful thing that we get the opportunity to talk on the radio. And be among these wonderful hosts and Chris and Cherie and be able to tell a story that for us is the truth. These things, as silly as they sound, or
how do you think we got here? I was just
no,
a rapper that pulled up in a position and started going the opposite way and going crazy. No, I'm an honest dude from the Bronx.
Yeah, this is I'm defending.
No,
you.
no, I
Don't-
know.
yeah.
I'm just throwing out more
Yeah,
out there.
It's a spiritual journey. It's your spiritual journey in particular, because my spiritual journey was completely different.
Right,
than
but
yours.
my point is, we know what we're talking about. That's how we
Right,
got into this
right.
position.
So we're blessed enough to be able to share this story with our friends, with our chat room friends, with our Facebook friends, and the feedback and the responses have been wonderful. But for the people who may not believe, listen to the stories and take the piece that applies to you. You know, we talk on air for an hour. There may be, 2 or 3 sentences that make sense to you, that resonate with you, that apply to you, and take that information and use it the way you choose to use it. We're just blessed that we get to tell our story, as crazy just crazy as it sounds. This is one man's story.
Wait, but it's crazy as it sounds, but yet you'll be attacked by people that read the Bible or don't read the Bible and read other things, and they'll attack you for this is God and this is this and this is that. And it's like, you know what? Keep it off my wave. How about that? Keep it off my wave, because we've been indoctrinated to a point where no one's coming at you with the truth. Look, this is how I explained it. It's not Frank's truth, right? It's from my perspective. I'm telling you what I am seeing. But the truth is the truth, right? So I'm calling it for what it is. I'm just saying, hey, look, I'm not embellishing.
Right, it's your truth.
I went to the other side. I looked multiple times. I asked the questions. I went in, apparently, so no one else has to, because you're quicker to shoot and kill someone, stab someone, run them off with your car than you would to, or pop pills that your doctor gives you, or take a shot than you would to drink a root to find out what the hell is really going on, because you don't really know what's going on, because no one knows jack shit about what's going on, right? Isn't that what McKenna said? We don't know jack shit. That's what the mushroom told me. Well, that's been going on for a bazillion years. We got to make up a number because it's been around since the beginning. This conversation has to come about because of the last 200 years.
Yeah, well, this conversation's been had many years over. I mean, people have been waking up and have been part of the shift since World War II. Really, that's when this whole thing started.
Right. I'm not a guru trying to change you over to my side. Like, that's not me, right? I'm the creator. It's me.
You're called.
It's you.
Yeah, you're called to.
I have the message, but I'm delivering it from you guys. I don't know who understands that still, but it's you. It's me. That's where it's coming from. We're listening. I'm listening. You listening? I'm not making this shit up. And I'm sorry I cursed a few times tonight, but I'm passionate and I'm making a point. Because I feel bad for those that are so ignorant. They'll attack the messenger about the message that's so important. And then things we said as human beings in my world, in my universe over here, in my section of the world, 20 years ago with the music group is more enlightening today than it's ever been ever. 20 years ahead of the coin. And people are questioning me about this. And I'm like, well, for 20 years, we talked about chemtrails. We talked about resistance. We were there before the truth movement actually was a movement. It was just speaking the truth. And it wasn't boxed into this pretty little package with people going, yay, in coffee houses thinking that's going to change the world. I was around before all that. And you questioned the whole thing, not to say you shouldn't question me or the things around you, but you attack the people with the knowledge. Okay, you should question them. You should ask questions. Root out the people that are full of shit.
Question you directly. Don't go through your family. If you have questions, go through Frank directly. Ask a question. You know?
There's nothing demonic here. I've been called demon. That's my favorite one. Oh, demon. Yeah, okay. I'm the one that pulls them out of people. I'm learning now that we all have something as a part of us and in us. Paul has removed more things from me. Some demonic, some not demonic in nature, but archonic in nature.
And curious in nature.
And curious in nature. I myself removed 3 entities from a good friend today who were just curious entities that were eating off his annoying fear. And every time he went, oh man, I hate this, they'd go, yeah, and he'd go, yeah, get worse. And I said, you, and you, get out of here. Yeah. And it wasn't literally that goofy, but while he was working with Paula, I was watching them, because I could see them. Leave, I feel weird sitting around a kid from the Bronx going, hey, listen, I'm going to run my arm by you. It's going to get your energy flowing and keep this thing out of here while you think this. Now, meanwhile, his oversoul, the thing that's sparked in his body, is looking me in the eyes. It's raised up a few inches above his head, is another version of his head, like another head, made the spirit, looking at me going, do it, tell him, do it, tell him. And I'm like, I'm trying to, man. This dude looking at me like he wants to punch me in the face. I'm like, I got to do this correctly. Like, this is still the Bronx, Relax. And it worked. It did work. It did work. We've pulled things out of people now successfully. We've worked with people. This is what I have to tell the non-believers, because you're going to believe what you want to believe anyway, because you got to believe for any of this to work. Although, if you have 15 minutes and you're that much of a non-believer, I could prove you to believer again. There's no atheist in the foxhole, especially when you're taking that last breath on the DMT hit, and you go, and then you see your first thing, and you go, holy cow. All right, when we come back, I'm going to jump right into the story. I got a bunch of little ones for tonight. I think it's going to be real interesting. I love you guys. We're the protection from the
I feel like I'm running down the sands of time. Another drink of ayahuasca just to free my mind. I hope to find another day what I've lost before. I'm trying to find my second wind so I can think some more. Don't try to tell me how it is or what can't be done.
We are TFR.
My faith in destiny is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world.
That's right, we are back. I'm Frank Castle. This right here is 12 miles. Awesome. Yeah, we're back. That's my solo song, Come Alive. I only have 2 out there. Don't let the imitator fool you. That's copying me and pasting me everywhere, buddies. But Hate Me and Come Alive, check them out. It's funny, the last part of my career has been all awakening everything. Everything is awakening. Right prior to my awakening, for a year before, the songs, the people, the situations. I almost feel like I'm in one of those Marvel movies where I'm like walking through, I don't quite understand what's happening, but then it starts to hit.
Because you get another piece of the puzzle.
Mm-hmm. And I want to just say this to people. You could be blind to stuff that's going on around you, and you could pretend and have children and say, look, I only got time for my kids, and I got and it's about me and them and this and that. I understand 1,000% what you're doing, but you're removing your spiritual quality by only living through your children's eyes, only not helping them understand what's going on, the indoctrinations, the shots, the pills, the drugs. People say to me, drugs. I allegedly smoke some pot, and I'm a shaman and work with ayahuasca. So where does the drug addict fit in? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say something to me? Drinking your Diet Pepsi, having your cigarette, by the way, still cigarette free.
That's right. It's over 30 days now, right?
Mm-hmm. And you got to try. You got to do something to push back. Do more. Don't do less. Rely on you. Don't rely on them.
That was scary.
Do it. I know. It's because I channel them. Josh, it's the all, brother. I'm channeling all of us. Do a little more. That doesn't mean Well, I got so much to do. How am I going to do? Maybe you're not doing it correctly. And I'm not judging you. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to point stuff out that in my fearless journey, I was right alongside the right path doing slightly wrong things. No matter how bad and how crazy. Don't be afraid. This has been around forever. You guys read books for imagination purposes, this and that. You throw yourselves out of perfectly good airplanes. You swim in the water with sharks. You rollerblade down the highway in traffic. You ride a motorcycle without a helmet. And you'll cry wolf when it's time to drink the root because you might throw up. Because you have a demon attached to you, which
is talking for you.
Is speaking for you.
Basically speaking for you.
I don't know, guys. Where do we draw the ridiculousness line? I just don't know. I'm trying to just throw us all into the deep end of the pool and work our way out. It's frustrating sometimes, but...
Yeah, line it up, buddy. Come on. You're making me sad.
Sometimes you have to be like a drill instructor. Because being a regular guy and having to do this, I have to fight off people going, oh, well, he's a mushroom head. Really? I don't think I'm a mushroom head. Do I eat that? You know me. Do I eat mushrooms that much that I'd be a mushroom head?
No, I don't remember when the last
I don't
time
even
we did
remember
that.
the
Yeah.
last time we did the mushrooms. These stories are
we
from
were very responsible.
covering the
on
last...
vacation, we were the first people there, up on time.
It's like the nicest
You know?
people. You all want to hang. All right, so we're going to get off the bad tip. But you guys got to think more. Think better. Think up. Think light. Remember the rules. Gold... shield around you, etherically.
Your protection.
Say my protection. Put a gold 3 inches around you, around the whole thing, by the way. Then violet fire, violet flame around as the next layer. Then either green or blue or both. Nothing will be able to break through that. And then you just shine with the white light. It's all connected to you etherically. It's going to blast you in the face. You don't even realize it. All right, back to the story again. This story is great. I love this one.
Why are you smiling now? I'm happy. Okay.
Because it takes me into, and I'm going to tell them kind of quickly, but full of the juices.
Okay.
All right. I made a batch, and naturally I got to do it myself, right? So I got to check, make sure everything's on the up and up.
Right.
So I decide to do a nice high dose by myself in the basement, right? And I was waiting, and I was playing the music and laying on the thing, and something was off. Something was just off. So I get up, and there's always the weird stuff that happens to me. It's not even that it's already messed up and weird and crazy.
No, really weird stuff.
It goes to the next weird level.
I've never been electrocuted on vacation. It never happened to me.
I never had memory loss like that,
I
although
know,
from a
I can
concussion,
tell.
yes, I have. Okay, so I get up, and there's this big drop sink in the basement, and I don't want to walk upstairs because I know at any time I might throw up or whatever, so I'm like, I'm going to go pee in the giant sink, right?
So you were hovering by the sink.
I never really do this, but I'm like, I'm doing it this time.
I can't believe you're telling people that you peed in the
No,
sink.
listen to what happens. This is the
Okay.
crazy part. So I'm going, and as I'm going, I went from being completely not under to completely under. By the time it was empty.
Really?
It freaked me out, and because I took a deep breath, and I was thinking to myself, and then the thinking became loud, as if I was talking to myself just like this back and forth. And then I looked down, and I looked to my right, and Aya was an actual violet flame woman standing 3 inches from my face, watching me. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. And she just goes, clean up. Right? Just turn the water.
Yeah, I'll wait. You clean up.
But didn't look away. Looked right at me like, don't forget to wash your hands. And I go, oh wow, that you're really in the room. But like, there was no trails and vapor things and geometric patterns. There was a woman made of violet flame standing with me, and she's drop dead gorgeous and beautiful that you want to cry when you look at her.
Oh, that's how I felt. Yeah,
you just get like
she was so beautiful. I don't even remember what she looked like.
Yeah, that's how hot she is. Beautiful, I should say, but she's also that beautiful as well. And she says to me, no. She grabs my arm, like she physically touched me, and I looked at her like, you're really standing here. Like, there's always this, oh, you're here for real, right? I got that from you, for real,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And she says, this is very important. She looked me right in the eyes, and she started walking with me like she was pulling me. She's like, somebody's here, and they want to speak to you. And the way she was holding my arm was more like a date or a respectful friendship. I can't explain it. Like when you're just walking down the street with your friend and they have your arm and you're just confident, perhaps crossing a street, and you hold each other and cross the street. Okay. And it was very classy. I'm from the Bronx. When I see classy, I understand it immediately because of my big mouth not being classy and being told, hey, you're just not classy sometimes.
Oh,
don't
you're
you even
classy,
think
baby.
of... But it doesn't bother me as much as me seeing it and then understanding, this is true class.
Right.
You know, this isn't the BS. Anyway, so she walks up the stairs with me. I'm like, I'm going to purge. I have to purge. And she says, no, you don't.
Okay.
No purge for you tonight. And I said, what do you mean no purge for me? She goes, you're clean. How many times are you going to purge? You've been practicing. You should be honored. This was some of the things you tell me. You should be happy. It works the way it does, and you don't give yourself enough credit. So I was saying to her, thank you for... At first I said, I love you. Thank you so much. This is amazing. But you're treating me like one of you guys. Like awesome. Like
an equal.
An equal.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the word I was looking for before. And I appreciate this because it's never been like this. She's usually so grand and loving and it's always bigger than me.
Yeah, and you realize your smallness at that moment.
Always
usually.
realizing my smallness,
Yeah.
crying like a child, being held and stuff. So she's like, no, you're ready for a lot of things, like a lot, and they're coming. But first, we got to handle some business. She didn't quite say it like handle some business. She said, first, there's someone that needs to speak to you. Very important. So I walk outside the back of the house. I'm standing on the back porch with her. And I'm thinking, wow, the neighbors are going to see this because she's a giant
violet
light. And it's amazing. And she was so warm and grateful. And I go outside with her, and she's just like standing with me on the porch. And I look up, and it looks like a light bulb turns on under the awning, and it's like coming towards my head. And I'm like, what is that? And a being of energy with wings, who instantly I thought of was an angel, a depiction of an angel, but discernment kicks in at that point where you're like, oh, that's where they get those ideas about you things. Now, I was against angels. I didn't even believe they were real. The Bible's fake. Why would angels be real?
We had that whole talk when we met about that.
But the way angels described in these books, or they're like messengers from the hymn, the great whatever. But to me, that I know who that is. The Yahweh virus. Chris and I talk about this all the time. It's the AI system. It's the virus in the system. Okay, and there's a whole bunch of things attached to it. So I said, all right, who sent you? Your God? Now, immediately I'm thinking on the defensive. I wasn't cool with it. I said, oh, this thing's going to try to convert me now. Oh, here comes the Christ consciousness talk again. And how Jesus is the one and all that. And he looked at me right in the face, and he had no eyes. He was just an energy face. And said, are you all right? You don't get it, do you? And I said, I don't get anything. I don't want to know what your God sends you here for. And he grabbed my arm, and his hand went into my arm. And I just looked back at him, and I went, oh, you have nothing to do with that stuff.
Right.
I mean,
just him sharing his consciousness with you let you know that.
Not only did it had nothing relevant to that. Wait, they're closer to us, literally our souls, than anything else, because you're the creator. So you come from source. Source is the creator of just about everything, because there's multiple sources.
Right, and we're all the creator. Yeah.
And we're all the creator. So these are your warrior friends, warriors for the system, protectors of certain areas and realms and information sources. This is why their energy, they flash off the wall. He showed me, as when he was holding my arm, it was showing, like, people call the firmament, they call it like the glass wall that's around this. Guys, that's not really there. It's etherically there. The flat earth isn't flat. It's etherically flat, and it's right out of your vibration. Guys, you drink or smoke with the DMT hard enough, you're going to see it. and go, oh, that's what you mean, because you're seeing both. You don't realize it, though. It's hard to explain, and I'm not against either side because both sides are correct. They're just not tuned in properly. That's why you're getting readings the way you read. Realities are starting to switch and flip around. You're going to start getting more information like this, and it's just going to be really intense. So I seen them being peeled off the firmament, so to speak. I don't know what else to call it. It was like a glass wall on the etheric side, but at the top. Like, source was over that.
Right.
So they were peeling off like stickers on... when you paint the wall, you get wallpaper.
Yeah.
There's the designs. It looked like angels, and they were made of energy, and they were just in the glass, and they were everywhere on the top. And when anything happened, they would, like, an energy would spark in that, whatever the angel on the wall would light up with energy and peel off the glass.
And go do its work.
And then go do its thing. And
Right.
then it would go back, recharge. And I'm like,
Right.
what the hell is that? So it gave me this whole explanation breakdown that they do a lot of the things like rescue the baby or rescue this. And then I start arguing like, well, you don't rescue babies when they drop bombs on them. And they're like, well, that's not our job. You're the dummy dropping bombs on babies.
Right.
Like, we're just trying to keep the peace
Yeah.
in these high realms.
Yeah.
And you guys are going nuts. So I got the ear beating at that point, and Io was completely gone from the situation. So I have this insane conversation. Nothing is religious in any way. It's just how we're viewing it, or whoever's telling the story that story got into that book, or that version got passed down.
The control system.
It's all reptilian,
Yeah.
by the way. If you don't believe that, you got a lot of things coming.
Your opinion. Your opinion.
Well, we all know the Anunnaki's base layer is at least reptilian. That's a truth.
It is a truth.
Okay, so there you go. But not all reptilians are bad. They don't like when I say that very much. So the angel introduction was very potent, but here's the thing. My mother's window is right above where I was talking.
Her bedroom
Her
window.
bedroom window. So I'm going to just jump ahead really quick to the next morning. She said to me, hey, good morning. I heard you talking to your friend outside last night. You guys, you were pretty loud, first of all, but it was such a beautiful conversation. I don't even know who that was, whoever your friend is, but that conversation put me, she goes, I stayed up and listened for like an hour. And I said, I was out there talking for 2 hours, and I was like, how do I tell my mother this? I don't lie to my mother. I know this sounds weird,
No,
but
it doesn't
whatever.
sound weird at all.
My mother's believed in me when it came to this, and then worked with me. We're not on that episode yet, but she did her experience and understands now. But I said to her, I wasn't out there with anyone last night. An angel came to me during an ayahuasca session. And she's like, that explains his voice. And I said, his mouth wasn't moving. I was just hearing it. But I guess I was speaking out loud as well.
Right, right.
So, but to me, it felt like when he touched me, there was just this understanding and flowing, like it would flow from him into me, and then I would talk to him, and then the answers would come out of his mouth, but also come through
energetically, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like a crazy cool loop-looking thing, and it just felt divine. I mean, but I'm divine. You're divine.
Right. Exactly.
Shout out to my man, Born Divine, but but it's the truth. The answers that are out there, you're going to have to want the real truth answer because they're really crazy. So now I'm going to kick back into the ayahuasca because we only got like 10 minutes left. So I'm laying down after the angel conversation in the basement, and I'm thinking, I got my feet up, and my computer, which is right here right now, was off to the side of me, and the light was on one of the Tibetan songs. And as I was thinking, how cool is it? I just met an angel, but now my whole world needs to be rewritten. Mm-hmm. But under ayahuasca, you're like, oh, I could do this. Like, it fixes you.
You have to rewrite your truth now.
So I'm getting into it. Like, I just read the best book I've ever read.
Right.
Ever read. And I'm thinking, wow, this is crazy. This is awesome. And I look at the screen, and once again, it turns gold. And out of the gold, it looked like some kind of worm was coming through my computer screen. It was gold, and it started to take shape. Looked right over at me and stayed half in the computer kind of, and then was half out. and I started to see a mechanical looking dragon. The Chinese dragon that you see in when they run around downtown with the floats or whatever with the
paper
sticks.
dragons, yeah.
They look just like that, but intense, like almost like a living metal, jewels and crystals, red eyes and gold, big white teeth that were jewels. And it just smiled at me and came into the room. It wasn't very long. It went around the computer. I'm going to do it for Paula right now. It went around this way, came around, and then back out to me. So it did like this little loop and then popped out of the computer with its tail out, but it was holding on to the computer screen. And it said to me, hello. And I said, dragon. Dragon, you're a real dragon.
Real dragon.
But your face is made of these awesome crystals, and then it happened. I wanted to touch his face. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. So he explained to me that he was one of the dragon families. I don't really know too much about this, but the dragon families are dragons. They're the consciousness of this specific being, which is a dragon, is on the Grand Chessboard. It spawns itself multiple times. So like the Lee family is all one dragon. The whatever family, I use Lee as in Bruce Lee because they told me he was an ascended master as well. So that comes from those dragons, the knowledge. So part of the dragon, the consciousness is in multiple human beings that are existing, working in a family in our 3D environment under the name. Bloodline, yes.
And DNA.
Right, just like Rockefeller is one being. I know it's hard for you guys to wrap this around your head, but everyone that works for them, for the most part, they're searching each other out. They call to each other and bring team, family back. Because the soul, the thing that animates the avatar is from that being. I need people to understand that. It's just not humans running around.
It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that.
My soul spark is that of...
It's bigger than Jesus. It's bigger than God. It's bigger than the galaxies and the multiverses. It's bigger than even that. It's overwhelming.
He explained how his consciousness, I wrote down some notes, he incarnates his consciousness into multiple beings. This is going to take 2 episodes, I know it. But he incarnates his consciousness into multiple beings to play on the Grand Chessboard. We discussed the hologram simulation. Gold now has everything to do with me ever since unlocking the Golden Tunnel, which was from when I watched the movie Ant-Man. Saw the train in the movie get thrown out the window. It turns to this giant train. Yeah. I have some spaz attack while I'm watching it, and I go, "This is amazing! I don't understand." And then I see things unlocking, and then a gold tunnel appears, and it says, "Now this is how you travel." And I'm like, "Well, I just hit the gold."
Gold is like a trigger color for you, then.
Yes. Well, it's the safest. It's the divine, the divine route, apparently. And then we leave breadcrumbs, a trail to stay on board to get on the right path, and you have to listen. He explained this to me.
Oh, yeah, we leave clues for ourselves.
This is how, when he incarnates into multiple beings, they find each other. Right? You have to leave those breadcrumbs before you jump into the human body. It's like their team, their NFL team on the etheric end. This dragon team is going to... they're going to run a play.
Yeah.
Everyone goes out and gets birthed and then meets back at the star in the middle, and we'll meet back on the other end, and then you come work for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But because we're human, we get amnesia. We don't remember.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff is really weird because a lot of these supervisory positions in government and everything, they're not run by human beings. They may look human, but they're not. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I've seen what I've seen, and I know my truth, and I know where this leads. All right, down on the last one real quick. This is always my favorite story of the night because it's the last one. The dragon and I just have a little talk. He goes back into the computer. Once again, knowing that I just discussed the holographic simulation with him because how is it a giant metallic golden dragon just flew out of my computer with eyes made of crystals and jewels and all. And he manifests into human characters. What is this craziness? But it makes total sense. It's making total sense now. We're all in the hologram together. So I lay back once again. I'm staring at the wall this time with a smile from ear to ear. Yo, the golden dragon. This is the golden child, Frank Castle. This is my mind going crazy. And as I sit back, I go, I hear a noise. I sit right up, stand up in the air. I'm like, wait, I'm under. I got to be careful now. Something stabs me in the back, right through my back. I feel it go into my heart from behind me. And I start like, and I hear lay down. And I'm like, and I start shaking, pull. And then I lay down exactly perfect. I don't even know how I did that. Like I laid perfectly down, facing the wall. And then I couldn't move anything except my head, my neck, and my head. That's it. And I'm like, you guys stabbed me, huh? Somebody stabbed me with something? It felt like a hypodermic needle, like a giant sword, or that injected something into me. And I heard, be quiet. Just pay attention. And I said, I can't do anything but pay attention. I wonder what's happening. I said, then I started thinking, this is it. They're going to take me now.
Right,
I must have messed up so bad.
Right.
Maybe talking to the dragon sent these things here to get me or whatever. And I'm facing the wall at the bottom of the steps. By the way, very scary within itself. I'm in the basement doing this. Even though it's a nice basement, it's still, ooh, you know?
You're alone in the basement.
Yeah, I'm alone in the basement. It's dark. I got no lights on except for the computer light. And I'm like, I don't even know how I have the balls to do this. And in the wall, as I'm looking, and I start yelling at whatever was behind me. I couldn't see it. I was like, you son of a bitch. You stabbed me. You did it. You're taking me away. I can't believe. And then I hear, be quiet. Pay attention. And I look at the wall. In the middle of the wall, it looks like a portal is opening. It's the only way I could explain it. Things start moving around. Energy starts moving. And I'm like, oh, man, what's happening? I pulled one of those like, but I can't move. So what are you going to do? Right? Like now they got me. But I've been under for so long. I'm thinking, yeah, no problem. I got this. Right? My heart starts accelerating 1,000 miles an hour when I see a giant bird head come right out of the portal, and Ra is about to step back into the room with me. And my heart pounds so hard that the nose comes out, the head was blue. He was in the room. This was the craziest ever. His head comes out of the portal, and I see his upper body as a man. And I go, Ra! And I used to say all kinds of weird stuff. I'd go, Ra, you're my dog. And like DMX, you're my dog, bro. And he'd go, I'm not a dog. Don't call me that. So I'd have these conversations where they get angry at me. And I'm just being,
humor.
Yeah, I'm like, have a sense of humor. So he came up to his chest, stuck his head out, and my heart literally, I couldn't control it. I didn't feel fear. I felt awesome. And he looked me like across directly in the face. And I hyperventilated just because I've never seen any. I don't know how to explain this. And he said, no. And he pulled back into the wall, but the portal was still open. And I could see the nose. It looked like an eagle to me. People say it's not an eagle. I've asked him, it's an eagle. You know, they talk about the falcon being Horus. Whatever, man. He's from they look like eagles, most of them, except for Toth. All right, so he says to me, I can't come in the room, but it's me. Your human side can't handle the truth. I said, what is the truth? He goes, then I'm real, and you can't handle it. All right, I'll see you next week, guys. This way your protection from deception, and we love you. Stick around for Chris and Cherie. Say goodnight, Paul Milo.
Good night, guys.
We love you. And don't forget to check out Heist Click, sign up on TFR. And do you want me to do a YouTube?